Now, let's move on to Jolly's lowering prices. So, pet superstore chain Jolly's has revealed plans to lower thousands of prices and open new stores across the UK. The retailer, which is a major rival to Pets at Home, has also announced a range of new benefits for its employees in a bid to attract new talent. What do we think about this, my arch rivals?
I think I think for the consumer, it's a bad thing, right? Because they used to have a 10% off Jolly's Club. You join the Jolly's Club, you get 10% off the retail prices. It's a great deal for people. Whereas now they're saying we're building it into the prices, and I think I've seen the things where people are putting up that they've not really lowered the prices, or if they've lowered the prices, it's been like by such a small amount, it's unbelievable. I understand why they've done it. They've done it because a blanket 10% across their store, if people buy certain brands, is going to be very detrimental to them. So if I went into a Jolly's and I just bought a ton of Nestle products, they're not going to be making hardly any margin on that. But at the same time, if you're going to talk about dropping prices, then drop prices. So I think it's a very bad marketing strategy. But my opinion is that Jolly's is coming to the end of its private equity financial boom, and so they need to show profitability. And the 10% off probably doesn't show profitability
How
at
can they
scale.
do that? It's such a low margin business. They keep opening new stores. Retail is very, very hard, let me tell you. And with all the benefits they give to their employees, and by the way, I don't begrudge them and good for the employees. Um, but I just don't think the margins are there. And the current business model rivals Pets at Home. I mean, can they compete with Pets at Home? Look at Pets at Home's share price since 2021, 2022. I mean, it hasn't really recovered. I'm, can they be a competitor? Do they want to go public? What do you think the strategy is there?
Um, I think it's an IPO play, the whole thing. So I think like the idea of private equity buying Jollies, opening loads of stores, and then making it IPO. Because once you become a PLC, you become like on the next level of multiples in terms of value, which then the private equity can then suck its cash out of and still own a big chunk, make a fortune for its investors. But that's only on the circumstance that they actually make money. Like, who's going to want to? So the danger is if they IPO tomorrow, it's with the state Pets at Home are in, it's going to be a very bad IPO, and like literally, it's going to go down the toilet. Like the value of the business. So I think what they're doing at the moment is they're creating profitability. They're like I think they you'll probably see them maybe close weaker stores, maybe open a couple of new stores, but not at the rate that they've been going. All the ones that I think are going to open in the next few months are ones which have already been planned, and then they're going to strive for profitability. They're literally going to drive prices up where they can and drive margins up where they can, so that they can IPO. That would be my guess.
Do you think they can compete with Pets at Home? I mean, Pets at Home, if nothing else, have the vet branch, and that really does add value. I mean, services are much more, way more profitable than products and big warehouses and business rates and all that entails. Do you think they can compete with Pets at Home? Are they making a dent into Pets at Home's business model?
I think so. I think they can compete with Pets at Home, but I think like the problem is that Pets at Home, as you said, have the vets and the groom room and stuff like that, which probably make them more money than the pet stores do. Because I actually think Pets at Home pet stores, they're not great. They're not great. I think Jollies do a better job. I know it's probably controversial, but I think for the price banding, because I think they are the natural competitor to Jollies. Because if you look at uh, Jollies are the natural competitor to Pets at Home, because if you look at Pets Corner, they're going for a much higher end clientele, as are Just for Pets. They're aiming higher in terms of like pricing, in terms of products, whereas Jollies and Pets at Home are sort of like more comfortable in the middle section. But I do think that Jollies have a slightly better range than Pets at Home. Their stores always seem a little busier to me than Pets at Home stores. But where they're weak is, I mean, and I think they do have some groomers, but I think the Vets for Pets chain is really the big strength of Pets at Home, to be honest.
Yeah. How would you how would you grow Pets at Home, and how would you grow Jollies if you were at the helm? I know I'm putting you on the spot there, and I do have a couple ideas, but I don't know how
Hold on.
feasible they be. You know, I reckon it come down to innovation. You know, I mean, they
Yeah.
do. Pets at Home have a venture arm, and they do invest in different companies within the pet industry, and I reckon that's the way to do it. If they tried to back entrepreneurs and back good ideas, I reckon that'd be the way to improve the market cap of Pets
Mm.
at Home and Jollies as well. I mean, this is a very simple business. People come for food, people leave with food, and it's a commodity, right? Dogs, in that sense, are a commodity. So you have to add like more lines and more businesses, bolt and get more bolted on businesses to your main gig. Um, Otherwise, how do you grow like more stores, more pickup locations, more? I don't know.
I think there's like for me like one thing both of them do badly is they're both terrible online. So um, what PetSmart did in the US because Amazon was murdering them is they bought Chewy, and Chewy is excellent online. And I think we don't, although we don't have an equivalent over here. I think having something like that where it's literally heavily reliant on auto ship, heavily high levels of customer service, um, high like loads of products, like really like crazy extensive range of products like Chewy has. I think that would blow both of their businesses because their online presence is both for both of them is very poor. Pets Home is better than Jolly's, but when you look at their overall sales, like Amazon is still murdering them in this country in terms of pet food sales. Um, and I think probably buying into the verticals would probably be another way of making them more profitable. So identifying suppliers that you could buy and then actually buying the manufacturers. Because at the moment, all of their own brand products, things like Wainwright's, for example, they're all made at Cranswick, places like that, which are already, they're just white labeling the goods from. Now, they're getting a good deal out of them, but what it does do is they've not got that knowledge in house because they're relying on third party actors to create that knowledge. But then they're a big customer to them. But there's probably more they could do in that sense, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, with this new move, I think they are sightlining a bit more with your Amazons, with your B and M's, and all your like discount retailers and all those places where you can get like your Felix for next to nothing, and then get everything else you need. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, right?
Mm. I mean, I'd also like to see like innovation corners in these places as well because I feel like they're one thing that is weak on them is that they it takes such a long time to actually for brands to get product in that I feel like they missed the jump on a lot of stuff. Whereas I think like if they partnered with some company like a different company every month, and I don't like they do a thing in Hong Kong where you can go into grocery, for example, and just set up concept corners. But I think if they had their own concept corners with new innovative companies, I think that would be something. Or I think another thing they could do to make more money would be to actually have deals with people like Tesco's and put concept corners within their stores, something like that. Because they are like the natural bridge between pet trade and grocery anyway. So I think maybe leaning into that more and putting it in those areas would probably be effective.
Just like Whitbread does with Costa and petrol stations, right?
Yeah,
Ish,
yeah,
similar.
ish, yeah, something like that. So let's say Tesco's, they've got like a huge amount of space in a lot of these bigger stores, but a lot of this crap they have in there don't sell. So they've got like an aisle of pots and pans and all this crap. Just get rid of that, turn it into a concept corner where, let's say, a retailer like a Jollies or whoever can just put a load of their sort of high-end products, so it opens it up to the grocery customers. I think something like that would work and would return profit. I think that if, as you put me on the spot and I've had 5 minutes to think about it, I think something like that.
I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing idea. That's an absolutely amazing idea. Right, okay, let's move along to the last one this week. It's the CMA's newest review of vet practices. So the Competition and Markets Authority, in my opinion, is being gagged by the British Veterinary Association, the BVA. Elizabeth Molyneux said, This is the profession that I know and love, which is a far cry from the misleading media headlines we've endured since the CMA launched its investigation over 12 months ago. These papers suggest that the CMA is failing to fully understand the nuances around key provisions like out-of-hours services and referrals.